"Tell me, Brea," he said my name with an emphasis on the E sound. "Do you have a boyfriend?" "Yes, many," I replied with a sly smile. "A lover?" he asked, and raised his left eyebrow. The question begged for a seduction. I twisted to one side so that my crossed and extended leg could tap against his calf muscle. I slipped my shoe off and maneuvered my foot just under his pant leg until I found his hairy skin. I ran my toe up his leg a bit, leaned in very close, and said, "Do you want to be mine?" This gesture gave rise to an intense look of arousal. His mouth dropped open a little. He unconsciously licked his lips, and then gave me one of those wide electric smiles. He moved in just a little closer, so our lips were nearly touching, and he coyly replied, "Maybe." This made my pulse quicken and my girl parts warm. I barely knew this man, and I had the urge to him. I liked him, though, and tonight would not go that far. I pulled back, caught my breath, and fanned myself right in front of him. Wow, is all I could muster. Cale took another drink and looked very pleased with his results. He had just won my sexy game of mental chess. A woman full of nothing but words was now speechless and utterly turned on. Later that night, Cale brought me back to my car. He pulled up and stared at me. Those clear eyes mesmerized me yet again. "You want to come to my office, pitch your script?" he asked. "Oh yeah, great," I responded immediately. And I realized I faced a serious problem without a real script or a good idea to pitch. I didn't want to tell him I was a colossal failure. A girl lured to Hollywood by stupid relationships with men who had just ended up working for a ridiculous bikini shop instead of a professional job. I could barely face those facts, let alone admit it to anyone else, including this hot producer with great eyes and hair. Then Cale decided to seduce me. He leveled his eyes on mine. He said nothing, and silence fell between us like a pregnant pause. He used this quiet in his desire to mentally pull me toward him. I did move to the middle of the car and prepared to feel those tulip-shaped lips on mine. Cale leaned over, took his time, and pulled me gently by the back of my neck, toward him and into a slow, passionate kiss. His lips were warm and perfectly moist. He was a great kisser. It was one of those surprise kisses. You know, the one where you think it'll be nice, yet there's something super sexy about it. The kind of kiss where you just want to strip down right there and do it. He kissed me over and over. Then ever so slowly, he used his tongue to sweetly, gently kiss until I accepted it into my mouth. We kissed more passionately, and I was almost uncontrollably turned on. I could have kissed Cale for hours, and we lingered in that kiss. When he pulled away, he was breathless. His face was flushed red, and he sucked in air and released it like air out of a balloon. He pulled his emotions and desires back under control. He turned and said, "You're so sexy." Then he ran his hand along the top of my arm, which made the hair stand up. I smiled and realized I better leave now before I wound up at his house in bed.